Right then, welcome back to Germany. England versus Denmark preview. So, England back in action for the second game of the group tomorrow against Denmark, who had a decent opening clash. I think it would be safe to say. Obviously, they got a draw against Slovenia, but they look decent in it. And because three teams go through, you're getting a lot of teams playing quite open football, but also not being overly arsed if they get a draw. So I think both teams are going to have pretty high hopes of making the last 16 with the numbers that are about to go through. I think it's Serbia, Slovenia that are probably going to be a little bit more worried about it. But Denmark are second in the group as it stands at the moment. Obviously, that's just the same on Slovenia. But head to head, it's pretty balanced. It's 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses for England. England have gone 5 consecutive Euro stage matches without conceding. The last time they conceded was Wales in 2016. Right, so how did Denmark play? Obviously, it's an experienced, pretty technical side with some decent attacking talent like Rasmus Højlund up front. They're probably going to line up in a 3-4-1-2 with Eriksen being that one in behind a 2, which is probably Højlund and Wind. Anderson, Vestergaard, Christiansen, loads of experience at the back there. Bar, Højbjerg, Hjumlund and Christiansen, which is a solid enough midfield with Schmeichel in net. Now, they do like that back three. That allows them to keep possession, move the ball sideways really effectively. They are patient with the build-up, and obviously they get it into the likes of Christian Eriksen, and he makes things happen. They set up with that 2 midfield pivot of Hjumlund and Højbjerg, and they're sort of tasked with not just protecting the defence, but also picking passes that get into Eriksen and get into the final third, and are pretty good with it. Now, I know people would pull the face if England played 2 midfielders, 2 holding midfielders in this, and I think that was why Southgate messed with that Trent sort of experiment. But in this game, because they're going to pack 5 into midfield, I think you can get away with having 2 midfielders in there just to pick up the runs that are going to come off you. So I would be going with Mainu in this, even though I don't think Southgate will do. Now, in previous years, their off-the-ball work has overshadowed their in-possession work. They lacked a natural goal scorer, but enter Rasmus Højlund, and Denmark have got quite a lot of potential going forward. He's got the movement, he's got the finishing, he's got the hunger for goals, and he really has answered Denmark's goal-scoring call. He plays alongside Jonas Wind up front in a bit of a strike partnership, but he's often joined by one or sometimes both of the fullback wingbacks because they do get numbers into the box. And I think you didn't really see Serbia do that against England. They went forward with 2s and 3s, not 4s. So I think that might be a bit of a problem for England if they don't transition quickly enough when the ball starts going back the other way. But like I said, they've got a lot of moving parts, and it's all knitted together real nice by Christian Eriksen, who just looks absolutely sensational in that 10. He's completely free. He plays his best football for the national team. He's maybe 5 or 10% slower than the Premier League, and it just suits him down to the ground. And the fact that they didn't win versus Slovenia, I wouldn't take them lightly on the back of that. They were unlucky. And I think that means that they're going to really push to try and get a result in this one. And England may be thinking, we don't need to win every game. There could be a potential for a slip-up here. Star man, Christian Eriksen, 42 senior goals for Denmark, which is not bad for midfield. Big favourite to score, I would think, at any time against England. That free roll means he gets to play really, really intelligent football. And if it is Trent that plays for England instead of someone like a Mainu, he's going to occupy pockets of space that Trent doesn't even know about if he Googled them. So that's going to be a massive problem. Declan Rice will have too much to do because there'll be too many other people in and around him. But it will be interesting to see how England's defence lines up against 2 strikers that are going to sit right on top of them, because that didn't happen against Serbia. It was a 1-up and then a little bit of a midfield around them, whereas centre-halves don't often play up against 2. And I think that could cause England some problems as well. England's 11. Well, I've gone with my 11 rather than what Helmet Face is going to go and do. And I would go with Pickford, Walker, Stones, Gay and Trippier. I thought that was fine as a back 4. There's no dramas with that. Rice alongside Mainu in the 2. Give Bellingham that free role and give him a little bit of freedom in that role, similar to what Eriksen's going to get for Denmark. And then play people ahead of him. Kane, Saka and Gordon. If you look at that pass map from England from the other night, it's everything that we talked about in the preview to the tournament, where All of the players want the ball to feet, and England don't possess an in-behind threat. Now you contrast that to Spain. Spain are happy to put Rabiot and Kante in there as a midfield two. It's a 4-2-3-1, the exact same as England. They have two out-and-out defensive midfielders that are going to work, because then it allows them 3 or 4 out-and-out attacking players that can go and get on the ball. And that forward lineup, Thuram, Dembele, Mbappe, well happy to see the ball played in beyond and chase it. And that's why France were a constant threat against Austria the other night, is because they was happy to see the ball go into the channel and chase it. And they had some decent opportunities from that. England had like one opportunity where Saka came central. It's not enough. Like, there are times that you're going to have to concede the opposition some possession, and I think England will have to concede some possession to Denmark in this game. And if you do, you're going to want to break out of that with some pace. You can't break out of possession with Foden, and you can't break out of that possession with Harry Kane. You need someone who's going to run in beyond, and Saka's the closest to it, but even he doesn't do it. That's not his game. So you need someone like a Gordon, even if it's just Gordon. You know, that was why people were like, it's a bit iffy not taking Rashford, because that is his game. If Southgate can't recognise that, 2 big fuck-ups from the first game. One, Foden's basically playing on top of Bellingham's toes, not being effective. Look, when you watch him, he doesn't do anything wrong. He just doesn't impact the game enough. Let Bellingham really start to operate in that kind of zone. He'll find freedom and he'll find space because he's not having Foden drawing people on top of him. Gordon will stretch that. It's a back three. Go 3 for 3 against the back three. Make their fucking wing-backs come back and do some work. That's what they need to do. Play your 2 sort of holding midfielders, number 8s. They're both great in possession. They'll get 80-90 passes between the 2 of them if you play them together. And then a forward 4, that's just given an absolute license to go and attack and create something. And you can do that. So that's what I would do if it was my team. That would go. Match winner for England, it's Jude Bellingham, man. He's England's danger man at the moment, and he's playing with a level of confidence that if you could bottle, you could sell it for a lot of money. The quality of his finishing and his knack of getting into the right area is unbelievable. And I think if he follows up with the performance that he had the other night, he's going to put a marker down for being player of the tournament. Make no mistake. He's been absolutely sensational. Right then, if you want to enhance your Euro 2024 experience, then we've got £40 in free bets to use on the tournament from our friends at Parimatch. They're offering new customers £40 in free bets when you bet your first £10 with them. Claiming the offer is simple. All you got to do is create a Parimatch UK account, opt into the promotion and place £10 bet on any sports market with odds of even or above. And remember, you must be over 18, must be a UK resident. Full terms and conditions do apply. All the information that you need will be in the link below. Thanks to Parimatch again for sponsoring the videos for this tournament. Righty then, how'd you beat Denmark if you're England? The first thing he's got to do is pick the right midfield. The Trent gamble didn't work. Kobe Mainoo is going to come in and just do a job. And sometimes that's what you need. That's what Rabiot was there to do. That's what Kante was there to do. Rice and Mainoo can go and do exactly that, the way France have them two doing it. You know, you didn't see Deschamps have any qualms whatsoever about sitting Tchouaméni and Camavinga down after the season that they've just had. He's like, yeah, cool, here's how I'm playing, so you two are going to take a seat for me. I mean, it's a great option to have off the bench, but Southgate's not doing that. He's trying to find a way to get Palmer into this team, trying to find a way to get Foden into this team. It's the Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard argument just brought back up 16 years later. Secondly, I think you've got to utilise Kane. I thought Milinkovic did a really good job on him for Serbia the other night. Didn't really let Kane get anywhere near him. Was real physical up against him. And I thought Kane struggled with that. I think Kane has to resist the temptation to come and join the midfield, particularly if Foden plays. Then you've got 3 players playing in the sort of area where you want Bellingham to pick the ball up and be effective. Trust Bellingham to do that. And everybody else, and Kane trusts himself to be the one that gets in the box and makes things happen there. That's where you earn your bread. You don't earn your bread for playmaking. It's a nice little extra that you've got in your game, but no one cares. They're here for you to score goals. Get in the box and go and score some goals. Let Bellingham play. He's developing almost like a bit of an ability about him. And I think in these big games, he's absolutely showing up. So just let him play. Put a couple of players in behind him that'll relieve him of a little bit of defensive work, even though he does it and he puts it around. But just let him play. And that's it, really. Just enjoy it, because It'll be a tough game. I think it'll be tighter than the Serbia game was, which was tight. I think Eriksen's going to get him a goal, or Højlund, one of those two. The next one. Latest. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.